by 2020. And when we look at the number of people graduating from UK universities with an engineering degree, we're falling quite a bit short of that. In 2015-16, only 23,000 people graduated with an engineering degree. Now, competition is also really rife for engineers. Competition's tough. Engineers have a very highly valued skill set when they leave university, and a recent study from the Institution of Civil Engineers claimed that out of the 3,000 engineering graduates that they surveyed, 1,000 of them have actually pursued careers outside of civil engineering. We have a number of underrepresented communities within civil engineering, including women, black, Asian, minority ethnic. We need a broader set of skill sets for the modern engineer. Of course, modern engineers do need the fundamental skill sets to be classified as a civil engineer and a professionally recognised civil engineer. But the modern civil engineer has to be able to embrace emerging technology. They also need to be able to communicate effectively with communities at risk. We have some really challenging infrastructure targets as well, leading up to 2020 and beyond, and in order to reach those infrastructure targets we're going to need a strong pipeline of new engineers. We are also seeing an increased frequency of intensity of weather patterns which are affecting the UK, and with each new and intense period of rainfall and weather systems, it's throwing new challenges at the country all the time. So that drive to innovate across civil engineering is really high. And finally, the Environment Agency has a 14-year legacy of investing in higher education. Historically, this program has been delivered through the University West of England. From this September onwards, the program will be delivered through Brunel University, London, and HR Wallingford. Now, our program is designed to develop a modern and a well-rounded flood engineer. And just to give you a picture of some of the careers that you might be able to pursue once you've graduated from this program, I thought I'd just step through a few examples. Firstly, you've got the opportunity to help plan and build new flood models to describe the flood risk that our communities are facing. Obviously, as a civil engineer, you'll have the skills and capabilities to help develop and build flood protection schemes. You'll get a fantastic opportunity to maintain and enhance rivers and flood risk assets. You will be experts in the flood and coastal engineering sector, so you will be in a position to provide expert advice regarding waves, coastal erosion, river flooding, surface water flooding and groundwater flood risk. When you graduate from the program as well, a really exciting element of becoming a flood engineer is helping to provide a 24/7 incident response service. Alongside the blue light services, the Environment Agency is a Category 1 responder, which means that we respond along similar lines of the police, fire service and ambulance service to provide emergency response to communities that are at risk of flooding and also environmental incidents. And finally, as I said before, around a modern flood engineer having to be able to communicate effectively to communities at risk, through this program you will develop the skills and capabilities to speak confidently and competently with communities at risk. You'll be able to describe their flood risk articulately and be able to influence other flood risk management authorities and flood risk developers too. So now going to just introduce a short video clip which tells you a little bit more about the program and what you can expect.
Apologies that the tone was slightly lower than we had anticipated. The video is available on our degree program web pages, so please feel free to go there and watch the video again in your own time with the higher setting of the volume. So just to give you further details on the course, as mentioned before, the Flat and Coastal Engineering Foundation of Science course is a full-time course running over 2 years, and the bachelor top-up year will be offered in 2 delivery modes. In the first year, starting from 2017, we are offering it on a part-time basis, which means that the Bachelor of Science program will run over 2 years. But from 2018, this will also be available as a 1-year full-time option. And the same thing applies for the Masters of Science program also. Just like to illustrate a bit further, some of you may not necessarily be familiar with the Foundation of Science program. It's the equivalent of a Bachelor Level 1 and Level 2, but what is a quite striking element of the Foundation of Science program is that there is a strong practical element of it, and this manifests itself within the 2 6-monthly placements that are part of the training on the Foundation of Science program. So the program is sponsored by the Environment Agency in order to address the existing skills shortage in that area. And that means that students taking the course have the opportunity to get their tuition fees completely covered. And also there is an allowance for you of £1,000 a month whilst you are being on your work placement, either with the Environment Agency or with a local authority or an internal drainage board position. The course is designed to deliver a very practically based, particularly industry relevant, innovative in its content, but also in its teaching provision, and is providing a progressive engineering degree program. As mentioned in the video, the courses will all start in October 2017. And are initially scheduled to run and be sponsored by the Environment Agency until 2023. But we're quite optimistic that the program will run much beyond that. So a very unique feature of the program is that the course is designed and also co-delivered by HR Wallingford. In case you are not familiar with HR Wallingford, I'll have a couple of slides to follow on to explain who they are and what they do in a minute. Another key feature is that the program has an extremely strong professional program that runs in parallel of the academic training, and also on this one I shall be expanding a bit further with the upcoming slides. We very recently had 2 accreditation visits here at Brunel University, and one was by the Joint Board of Moderators. In case you're not familiar with the Joint Board of Moderators, it's actually a grouping of the Institution of Civil Engineers, the Institution of Structural Engineers, the Chartered Institution of Highway and Transportation, as well as the Institute of Highway Engineers. We also had an accreditation visit recently by the Chartered Institution of Water and Environmental Management, which we usually just shorten to CIWEM. And I'm pleased to let you know that CIWEM has already accredited the course in advance for 2 years, and we are just awaiting now the decision of the Board of Moderators, but we haven't heard from them yet, so I can't give you any further information on this at this stage. But I'd like to say both of the institutions were extremely complimentary about the very unique concept of this particular program. Because we have this very, very strong professional development element that runs alongside the academic training, it allows you that once you have completed your Foundation of Science program, you have the academic training in order to obtain a professional status of an engineering technician. You should quite soon after completing your BSc studies being able to obtain the incorporated engineer, and you have everything ready for you in order to obtain chartered engineering status after the MSc. For the chartered engineer, though, you may need to obtain further practical experience, but you have all the elements ready in order to become chartered.
Work placements are a really key element to the academic delivery of this program. There are 2 6-month work-based training placements with either the Environment Agency, a local authority, or an internal drainage board. And this is where you will be out on placement with industry, and you'll be training, you'll be developing to become a well-rounded flood engineer. During that time, you'll be receiving £1,000 a month. Now, that is tax and national insurance contribution exempt, so that is £1,000 in your hand a month that you'll get whilst you're on placement. We've designed the work placement to align with the professional requirements of the Engineering Council. Now, what that means is at the end of this program, you will not only have the educational base, but you'll also have the work experience to become an engineering technician. And an engineering technician, for those of you that aren't aware, it is your professional qualification and your gateway to the civil engineering industry. It's globally recognised, and it will follow you and stay with you with your future career as you develop. Now, professional development and reflective learning is going to be really, really important whilst you're out on placement. So you'll be given a mentor, an industry mentor, who's going to guide your development whilst you're on placement. Your work-based training will be crafted to suit your own individual needs and crafted around your interests. You'll be encouraged to embrace in reflective learning. Now, reflective learning is a really key skill set to have, and that will also follow you in your career as you go forward. Whilst you're out on placement, Brunel University London will also be visiting the placement to have a chat with you, have a chat with your mentor and some of your colleagues to make sure that you're getting everything you need whilst you're out on placement. You're getting the type of experience that's helping you to develop and become a well-rounded flood engineer and ultimately meet the needs of the Engineering Council and to become an engineering technician.
I mentioned earlier to you that the degree programs have been designed and will be co-delivered by HR Wallingford. Now, HR Wallingford are an independent civil engineering and environmental hydraulics organization. And in case you may wonder what the HR stands for, it's not human resources, it is hydraulics research. And they do provide solutions to complex water-related challenges for international clients. Pretty much anything around water research, they have great expertise and a significant track record. And indeed, this track record goes back by 65 years. They have the know-how, the assets and facilities, and including state-of-the-art physical modeling laboratories, but also phenomenal numerical modeling tools and staff with renowned skills and expertise. You might like to know also that HR Wallingford has Scientific Research Association status, and we are collaborating with HR Wallingford not only on the delivery of this course program, but we're also developing a strong research collaboration together with HR Wallingford as well. The images on the right-hand side are some illustrations of the facilities. There will be more coming in due course. The image on the right-hand side is showing their fast flow facilities, and they're actually able to generate sort of tsunami waves in these particular facilities. And on the top is just an illustration of all the modeling capabilities that they have in order to be able to estimate possible flood risk in a particular location. Here we see some further images where we have huge basins of harbors, for example. The models tend to be scaled either 1 to 25 or 1 to 50, and on the right hand side you can see sort of the wave paddles where they're able to generate all the required waves in order to test various types of structures, whether these are harbor defense structures or various structures that are placed in the sea, like maybe oil platforms or whatever it may be. Now here you can see in principle what the structure of the Foundation of Science program looks like. We start off and kick off with an introduction week. Sometimes we nickname this week the boot camp week, but it's a normal introduction week which runs alongside our usual introduction week here at Brunel University. But it does have a couple of specific aspects that are very relevant for this particular course, in that you will be learning more about the Environment Agency, you will meet your industrial mentors, there might be already some professional lectures taking place in order to get you well settled and for you to meet all your fellow students. The academic program runs for 6 months in the first year and is followed straight after by a 6-month placement, and actually the same pattern repeats again in year 2. What is different between year 1 and year 2, that in addition to the induction week in year 1, we also have the summer school during the period of your first placement. And this summer school does take place at HR Wallingford. Through the entire program, we have the professional program running alongside, and this covers various kinds of elements from field trips, site visits, special lectures, you name it. You will be well prepared in order to have that side of your requirement of a training to become a well-rounded engineer as well. So in here you see the module titles of the Foundation of Science program, both in year 1 and year 2. And you can see we are sort of slowly and surely building up your knowledge in this particular area. So in year 1 we are starting off more with the fundamentals. You learn the necessary skills on the mathematics, on analytical modeling and skills that you will require in the course. You learn about surveying, about drawings, about GIS, about CAD. And you will be learning about the river and coastal engineering science, which later on you will take further and transport that into river and coastal engineering. You have the engineering and environmental materials section. You learn about project management, and very importantly, you learn about health and safety risk management. This is a very, very important aspect of being a flood and coastal engineer. And then obviously we have the placement as well as the summer school. So in year 2, we then sort of starting to focus towards design and the conceptualizing of flood defense structures. You learn more about environmental hydraulics and design. You learn about asset management and also about legal matters as well as governance. And very importantly, you then start to develop your first estimation and hydrological modeling, such that you are able to make informed judgments whether a certain area might be at risk of flooding or not. And also you learn about civil contingencies, flood resilience, and also local flood risk design. And this is always supported by numerous case studies, such that you again have the practical element that is sitting alongside, which also helps you to develop your professional aspects of your degrees as well. So application for the Foundation of Science program is via the UCAS website. So it sits alongside any normal Bachelor of Science or BEng program. You can see here on the list the various requirements that are available for you to start studying the flood and coastal engineering degree. So if we're talking A-levels, we are looking at a BCC entry, and we're looking for the B to be either in mathematics or in physics. We want to make sure that you are well equipped in order to cope well with the content of the course. Now these days students often have a very mixed and complex degree settings. You may come not with A-levels, you may come with BTECs, or you might come with a combination of BTECs and A-levels. And if you go to our website, you will find this list available as well, about the various degree combinations and entry levels that we do accept for you to take on. So let's assume you have been able to studying flood and coastal engineering at the Foundation of Science level, and you come towards the end of your degree program. You then have the fantastic opportunity that you will be guaranteed an interview with the Environment Agency. And you may be lucky to get a job with the Environment Agency or also with a local authority. Should that be the case, you then have the opportunity to top up your Foundation of Science program with the Bachelor of Science top-up year. If you are a Environment Agency or equivalent employee, you are getting this funded, which you might like to know. So you are in employment at this stage, and you would be doing the top-up year in a part-time mode. And hence, you can see the taught content over year 1 and year 2. So in year 1, you have the module Math, Data Handling and Structural Engineering, as well as River and Coastal Form, Process Design and Environmental Assessment. Again, a summer school. And in year 2, you have the module Flood and Coastal Risk Management, and also you will be working on your projects towards your BSc. However, you may not necessarily be working for the Environment Agency. You can continue and complete to bachelor level as you see fit. Anybody can start on the BSc as long as you have completed the foundation level of this degree program, but I specify further details on this in a minute. So should you be studying the Bachelor of Science in the part-time mode over 2 years, this slide gives you an idea of what the structure is going to be looking like. So you're not going to be asked to be doing all your studyings in the evenings, which can be quite a difficult task to do. You will have selected weeks where you will be coming to Brunel, you will be residential here at Brunel, and cover various modules in 1 week kind of bursts and periods. Then you might have 2 or 3 weeks in between, depending on how the calendar runs, where you will be back with your employer, continue working, and possibly do further self-studying while being away from Brunel University. Again, we have an introduction week to that, and also we have a summer school where obviously you will be dealing with different type of problems in different settings at HR Wallingford while this is going on. In year 2, we have slightly fewer weeks where you are with us for modules, because towards the end of year 2 you will be working quite heavily on your projects, and ideally they will be linked with the company you're working for, so this will go hand in hand with your employment. And again, as I mentioned before, professional program runs alongside the course. If I'm just allowed to skip back, and what I forgot to mention, should you be interested to continue on a master's level, the structure of the master's looks pretty much identical in the layout as well. So you could study that either on a part-time basis over 2 years, or you could study it in 1 year in a full-time mode. So the entry requirements for the bachelor is that you either have done a Foundation of Science program in River and Coastal Engineering, which was so far being offered by the University of West of England, or that you have a Flood and Coastal Engineering degree from Brunel University. Either of those qualifies you to start the Bachelor of Science program. The entry requirements for a master's level is a UK first or second honours degree, either 2-1 or 2-2, in any kind of degree in a relevant discipline. So this might be engineering, might be mathematics, might be environmental science, geography or geology. Either of the 2 programs is available as a 2-year part-time option or as a 1-year full-time option, but I would like to stress that the 1-year option is only available from 2018. This year we're starting only with the part-time options. If you are supported by the Environment Agency for either a BSc top-up year or for an MSc, again, the Environment Agency kindly will sponsor your student fees and take care of them in full. You will be allocated travel and subsistence while you're over here, and very importantly, you will have dedicated time off in order to be able to cope with the studying. So in a nutshell, if we look at the entire degree program suite, we're starting off at level 1 with the basics, with the fundamental knowledge and skills that you will need for flood and coastal engineering. At level 2, we are starting to enhance your knowledge and your skills. And as we're progressing then towards the bachelor and master's level, level 3 and level 5, you are dealing more and more with advanced topics and design, and lastly, with their application at master's level as well. Again, professional development program is a strong element through all these levels. Just to give you an idea what you might anticipate in the induction week, the so-called boot camp, it's designed such that you have a flying start when you are starting off with a foundation degree. You will be inspired and ready to tackle the program such that you can make most of your two-year program. So it allows you, you will have a further opportunity to orientate yourself with the course. You will be learning much more about the Environment Agency that you know already. Very importantly, you will get to know and bond with your fellow course students, and I think from my own experience being a student, this is a very, very important element of any kind of university degree. You are not studying in isolation. Your peers are a very important support network whilst you are doing your studies. In this week, as Paul mentioned earlier, you will be meeting your industrial mentors, and you have various opportunities to meet with your industrial mentor as well as your tutors that you have here at Brunel universities. In any case, you will be leaving that week inspired and motivated to kick on and start off your programs. So coming back to the summer schools that are taking place at HR Wallingford. In case you don't know where HR Wallingford is based, it's in Wallingford in Oxfordshire, and it's about 30 miles to the west from here. Depending on traffic, it takes about 45 to 60 minutes by car. So it's in a very good position and location with regards to Brunel University. And you will be attending the first summer school there approximately 3 months into your placement. And this is a fantastic opportunity for you to touch base again with your fellow students again, and to exchange and report and reflect about your placements that you are undertaking in the various locations. And obviously there will be further subsequent summer schools at the BSc and the MSc levels. They will be running obviously at different times, and you will be challenged with different projects and tasks while you're over there. This is a slide which is kindly provided by HR Wallingford, and it shows their modeling hall, which is the fruit hall, and it's an absolutely outstanding facility. So I have been over there myself a couple of times now, and every time I go I'm still amazed about these facilities. The sheer scale and what's available and what you can be doing in that hall is simply outstanding. There are a number of flumes. There is the fast flow facilities that I mentioned earlier to you, where they can simulate tsunamis. There are numerous river basins. It's a fantastic and a very impressive hall. So you will have opportunity in your summer schools to undertake some first-hand experience on these facilities yourself. So this slide is giving you an overview of what you can expect whilst in the summer school at HR Wallingford. There will be some team building activities. You will be learning about flow processes, further theory and methods beyond what you've been taught within your academic program. Mostly it's around that you are then able to apply these kind of things in a very, very practical setting. So you learn more about the application of flood risk assessment. There will be health and safety risk management in flood and coastal engineering. You will be tackling various case studies while being there, and very importantly, you have first-hand experience of these fantastic facilities and the experience and excellency of HR Wallingford. And this will be done by attending various small group tutorial discussions on professional experience and personal professional development. So what can you expect when you come to Brunel University? Obviously there will be some type of teaching which is standard to all university degrees. There will be lectures, there will be laboratories, there will be tutorials. It's the standard kind of learning that you are used to, with support by online facilities that we have as well. But as I mentioned, in addition to that, you have the professional development program, and this is supported by numerous site visits and field visits. There will be guest lectures. You will have the opportunity to to do dedicated modeling sessions at HR Wallingford. You will have opportunities to have one-to-one discussions, both with the teaching staff of Brunel University as well as HR Wallingford, and also obviously your industrial mentors who will be guiding you in your professional development. And you will be benefiting by being taught by people who are at the forefront of the research in the field. So I think overall this program is very unique. I think it's unique UK-wide. If I was in a position where I would have to consider what should I study, I think I definitely would be studying this myself. So it's very much designed around the concept that we are trying to link the theory to real-world challenges and their applications. In case you don't know where we are based in Uxbridge in the west of London. We are within the M25, very close to Heathrow, and have a great facility and location in that we are not far to the green belt, through the green side outside the M25, as well as the convenience of being quickly into central London. So our students very much appreciate having that benefit that maybe during the week you are here on campus, you concentrate on your studies, but on the weekend you can go into town and attend concerts or theatres or whatever you may want to do within central London and let your hair down. We are having excellent facilities, numerous sporting facilities, outdoor arenas, indoor arenas, various accommodation facilities. You can choose among several ones where you want to stay. In addition to that, we provide an additional program in addition to your degree program. So if you have still resources to take on more, you might do things on the side, like maybe learning a language. You might get involved in the art center, maybe you play an instrument. There are various courses ranging from ceramics to life drawings. You name it, there's lots of opportunities what you can do. And I think where we very much excel is our sporting facilities. With with a generous lottery fund, we were able to develop our sporting facilities to a great extent. We have the outdoor track that you have seen on the previous slide, and we have fantastic indoor facilities as well, which include a huge climbing wall and also the indoor athletic centers. As you can see from the picture, it does attract the odd well-known athlete. We had Usain Bolt here, but also Mo Farah. So it's a fantastic opportunity. Maybe you're lucky and you might see them while being here on campus. So I hope this has given you a sort of a bit of a flair, who we are, what we do, what the course is about. And if you have any questions, keep sending them through via keyboard, and Paul and I will be addressing them as best as we can. In case you are watching this particular recording not live but later on, you can see on this slide we have our contact email address given here. So if you have any questions, please feel free to send any queries through at a later date as well.
Thanks, Carola. Just while we're pulling up the questions, so thank you for sending through some questions. Keep them coming. We'll run through them with you in a second. Just to remind you that the application window is open now, so we are attracting applications or inviting applications for the foundation degree via UCAS, so you can find out more details about how you apply on the Brunel website. And as Carola says, this is a really rich learning experience that you're in for here. Not only are you getting the academic teaching to a very high caliber, you're getting the professional training alongside the program too. So just in a couple of minutes we'll run through the questions that are appearing in front of us. We're just having a few technical issues, just pulling up the questions. So if you just bear with us for a few moments, we should be able to pull up the questions and provide the answers with you shortly. If there are any issues of us putting up the questions, we can always follow them up afterwards. Okay, now 1 second, they are in now. So just as a reminder, if you are asking questions, if you can just leave us your name as well, and we'll run through them. So question number 1 has come in. Why is there no response to questions? It's just recorded playback and not interactive. This is the interactive section of the presentation, so hopefully that answers that question. Second question has come in. What must I do to get the scholarship? Well, firstly, you need to apply via UCAS. So if you go onto the Brunel website, you'll find a link across to UCAS. If you submit your application form, it will come directly through to Brunel University. The next stage of the process is Brunel will check your educational background and make sure that it meets the educational requirements for the course. If it is, you'll then be sent a questionnaire, which is an Environment Agency questionnaire, and it asks you questions about your desire to work in the sector, what has attracted you to this program. That will come through to myself, we and my team, and we'll look through your application. We'll then invite you to come along to meet with us. We do call it an interview, but really it's a getting to know you session, and that's where you're going to hopefully secure your scholarship. At that session, we're just trying to get to know each other, ensure that the program's the right fit for you and that you're a good fit for us as well. Ultimately, there is 12 months in total in terms of work-based learning and training, so you are going to be out there in the industry training to become a flood engineer. So alongside your educational base, we do want to make sure that you're going to be a good fit for the workplace as well. Next question, Simon, this sounds fantastic. Will I know if my application is successful for sponsorship before the start of the course? Yeah, absolutely. So Simon, you'll put in your application. It'll, as I say, it'll go through Brunel's educational sifting. It will then be sent across to the Environment Agency. You'll be invited along to an interview or a getting to know you session where we understand your interest in studying and working for us or another risk management authority, and the scholarship or sponsorship will be on the outcome of that interview process. Oh, I've just seen we've got a question saying that somebody can't hear the video. Now, I do hope that that is just one individual that can't hear the presentation today. This has been recorded, so what we are going to be doing is we're going to be sending this out to everyone who's registered to attend today. So if there has been any technical issues, hopefully that will be resolved when we send out the recording.
The video was unfortunately a little bit low, but you can always watch this again on the course web pages. So just go on, put in Google and go for Flood and Coastal Engineering and go on the main page and you find the video on the right hand side and just rerun it again and make sure that your loudness and speaker settings are correct. Then we have a question from Michael. And it says, Mike here, I'm currently studying a foundation engineering course at Brunel with progression to mechanical engineering level 1. Could I transfer after my foundation year was completed onto this course? This would probably be possible. You would apply as usual through UCAS. And if you meet the requirements of your foundation course, this should be possible. Please put in your application.
Okay, the next questions come in around about sponsored places. We have a number of sponsored places available. We have around 20 sponsored places, maybe a few more, and the application window is open now. So if you're interested, I do suggest that the early bird catches the worm, so to put in your applications now to avoid disappointment. So if you're interested, put your applications in now. Okay, next question's around UCAS. Is it mandatory to go through UCAS and apply? I completed a foundation year in science in the last year. My grades are A, B, C in math, physics and chemistry, and a B in EAP. I don't know what EAP stands for, maybe Corolla does. However, my UCAS account is not available because the account was created with an institutional email that I have no more access to. Corolla.
I would suggest you contact our admissions team. They can help you with that. But just to confirm, the application process is via UCAS. So I'll just give you the email address that you can contact, and it's simply admissions@brunel.ac.uk. They will be delighted to help you with your query.
Okay, and Georgia, you're asking, is it too late to apply for September 27? Absolutely not. Applications are still open. There are still places available. So if you're interested, I advise you to get your application in soon. Okay, next question. If I apply to a part-time program and work during the course, do you pay me £1,000 a month? Unfortunately not. You have to be on a sponsored program or a sponsored work placement, so you either have to be hosted by the Environment Agency, a local authority, Internal Drainage Board, or another one of our risk management authorities. Another question about the audio on the video. Apologies once again for that, but as Corolla said, the video is available on YouTube. It's available on the Brunel Flood Engineering page as well. Next question, Anna. I'd like to apply for the foundation course for 2018 in order to complete a higher maths qualification. Am I able to apply now and defer my entry to secure a sponsored place in advance? It's a really good question, Anna. I'm not too sure off the top of my head. What I will do though, we will have your contact details because you registered for today's webinar. I'll come back to you on that one, but really good question. Okay, next question, Georgia. I tried to apply for this earlier this year, but I'm only currently studying geography, applied science and design technology. I've applied for some geography BSc degrees, but this one is perfect for me. I was just wondering if there's another way of me doing this course. What we'll do, Georgia, is we'll take your email address and we'll be in touch with you outside of this webinar. Okay, next question. Okay, Ben, I've just completed my personal statement and I'm about to approach my reference, but before I do, I wanted to confirm if there were still funded places available on the course, and if so, at what stage, how would I go about applying for them? There are, for example, a section on the UCAS application relating to student support and student finance, which I'm unsure about how to complete, and also whether these would affect my application. Some really good questions about the UCAS application form. Obviously, Ben, I've answered the question about sponsored and funded places. They are still available. But your question about your UCAS application, just encourage you to get in touch with the admissions team on the email address that Corolla just read out, which is admissions@brunel.ac.uk. Once again, Ben, we'll have your contact details here as well, so we'll try and drop you a line outside of this webinar. Okay, next question. I'm from another country and I really want this program. The fees included all my living costs, for example, food, residence. Okay, so really good question. Firstly, you're able to apply for the course as long as you have the right to live, work and study in the UK. Second question around fees. I mean, your fees will be covered, tuition fees will be covered by the Environment Agency, and then whilst you're on work placement, you'll get £1,000 a month. However, whilst you are at university for effectively 12 months, you will need to self-fund your living costs while you're at university.
If I'd just like to follow this one up, you say you're from another country. We are not quite clear whether you are coming from an EU country or somewhere else. So maybe you'd like to send me an email as well, and we can follow this up on a one-to-one basis in addition.
Okay, next question. Once again about video clip, I'm sorry there seems to be some technical issues around that. Alina, you're saying you can't access the YouTube video clip, doesn't have any sound. Not sure what's going on. Perhaps try the link on the Brunel website instead. That should work. We've been using it today, so it should be fine. Okay, Lena, you're also asking about applying. I've done my studies in Romania and have a different grading system. I'd suggest, I know obviously you've got a slightly different entry level qualifications. If you can just get in touch with us outside of this webinar with a detailed breakdown of what you have studied, your academic background, we will get back to you shortly.
This is a query for Mahat, and he says, I would like to apply for the foundation program. However, I have an access to science diploma and a BSc in physiology and pharmacology. Can I still apply for the FdSc course? If yes, will I be eligible for a sponsored program? I suggest in your case, do apply in any case. If we have your full academic record, we can make a judgment, and you will have heard from Paul's previous answers. Yes, there are still places available, so do get your application in.
Okay, next question, back to Ben. Again, you're currently watching a video on your iPhone, pulled over in a lay-by. Can I talk to anyone? Firstly, Ben, I hope you pulled over somewhere safe. You can't, this isn't a two-way conversation, you probably picked that up already, but in the follow-up email that we've sent to everyone that registered to attend today, we'll put on some contact details so you can actually speak to somebody at Brunel or from the Environment Agency if you've got any more detailed questions. Next question is around, hello, is there any chance I can start this program from a master level, or do I have to start from bachelor? All external entrants, so all people, anyone that's applying for a course that doesn't work for the Environment Agency, a local authority or another risk management authority, will need to start their journey with us on the foundation degree. That's the starting point for this year. Now from next year onwards, so 2018, onwards, the MSc option will be available on a full-time route for people that don't have a background in flood or river and coastal engineering.
Having said that, you may want to start on a part-time mode. You can do that as well. We have some interested students who will be taking the masters on a part-time option as well at the moment, who are currently not working for the Environment Agency or local authority. But if you are keen to do this in a full-time mode within 1 year, then your year is 2018.
Wonderful. Next question, Georgia, asking a really good question about living costs. Are you eligible to apply for student finance to help out? Absolutely, yes, you are eligible to apply for student finance. It will depend on your personal background regarding what funding you're able to get access to. Now, also, what we didn't include in the presentation, if you are successful and you do start with a foundation degree, you'll get access to halls of residence here at Brunel University for both of the 2 6-month blocks. So obviously that's a lower cost of subsidised cost of living whilst you're here studying at university. Next question from Cameron, does the university's accommodation contract fit with the placement schedule, i.e. as I move out of accommodation, will I be going straight to the placement, or will I need to find alternative accommodation in the meantime? Yeah, great question. So whilst you're here at university, as I said before, you'll get access to halls of residence. You'll be able to stay on site if you want to for 2 separate 6-month blocks. So that's no problem at all. You will, whilst you'll be going out on placement for 2 6-month blocks as well. We've got a placement team here at Brunel University. You'll also have a mentor from industry, and together we'll ensure we find you some accommodation local to your placement. And then Crowley, I don't know if you heard that, but Crowley's just adding that your placement may well be within the location of where you're currently living as well, so you may well be able to stay where you're living without the need to move around the country. Next question, Janeth is asking, do the scholarship program cover the MSc or only until the FdSc? Yeah, so the scholarship, as I said before, really starts with the foundation degree for all external entrants. The MSc is a sponsored program, but it's only sponsored for members of staff that work for the Environment Agency or another risk management authority. Okay, a question from Tracy. Hello there, I'm a recent graduate with a master's degree in aerospace engineering as well as EngTech with the Institute of Engineering and Technology. However, I've recently become interested in switching to the environmental industry. Is it possible to move into a job role with the Environment Agency without having to undertake a further environmental degree to become a flood engineer? For example. Thank you. Yeah, great question. I mean, there's nothing stopping you applying for jobs now. You can apply for jobs within flood risk management. So you can look for vacancies, apply for vacancies as you see them. If you're successful and you do become a member of staff, either working for the Environment Agency, a local authority or another risk management authority, you'll then be in line for potential sponsorship to step on to the MSc program if that's the career path that you want to take. Okay, question from Stamati. Can you confirm whether chartership is awarded after masters? Fantastic question. So it will really depend on a case-by-case basis. It will depend on your background, your work background. The master's qualification will give you the educational base to achieve chartered engineer status. But to become a chartered engineer, you do need to fulfill the work-based requirements from the Engineering Council. So it will depend on your level of work experience. So if you've been through this program and you've joined us from the foundation degree, proceeded on to the BSc and then the MSc, you'll be well on your way to becoming a chartered engineer. It's likely that there will be a few gaps that we'll need to fill in terms of work experience, but it isn't unreasonable to suggest that you could start with us on the foundation degree, step onto the BSc, then on the MSc, and then within a year or two be in a position of having the right work-based experience to apply for your full chartership. Next question, can mature students take the course? Absolutely. We actually encourage a real diverse cohort of students, and mature students are very welcome and certainly add to the learning experience of everyone that's on the course. So there's no restrictions there.
And indeed, the kind of course invites career changes. I think it's very interesting, the aspects of flood and coastal engineering. Yes, you have the engineering element, but if you want to do something for the community, if this is your passion, and you see your future in that one, we take people from any age, any year, any background. So please do apply, and we actively encourage also to apply should you consider a career change in that direction.
And last question that we've got here, and we're bang on time actually for 6:30, which is spookily accurate. So last question is around, are the 2 6-month work placements incorporated within the 2-year study of the course? Yes, it is. So you'll spend the first 6 months here at university, then you'll go off on a work placement for 6 months, and then that cycle is repeated in year 2. Thank you so much everyone for joining us today. We've reached the end of the webinar. There are no more questions I'm looking at now. We will follow up this recorded session with an email out to everyone with a recording of the session and contact details where you can get in touch with us to raise any additional questions that you might have.
Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to hearing from you further. Bye-bye.